chào các bạn, tôi tên là Genevieve, tôi là phẫu thuật viên văn hóa của Đại sứ quán Hoa Kỳ và tôi là người phụ trách trung tâm Hoa Kỳ ở Hanoi, ở Thái Hanoi.
Elenita Tapawan, I work in public affairs.
Hi, my name is Tenzin, and I'm a consular officer here at the U.S. Embassy.
I'm very happy today to chat with you about our second annual podcast competition. And this is one of our new favorite annual traditions here at the American Center in Hanoi. So, to give you some stats as to what the competition and the field looked like this year. We had over 130 young Vietnamese participants submit a podcast for consideration. That's over double of what we had last year. We asked participants to submit a podcast of 5 minutes or less where they could work either together in small groups or as individuals, using audio storytelling to share their thoughts and perspectives on the topic. And over 200 participants joined our podcast training here in our American Center in Hanoi and also virtually. We are so excited about our podcast training because it equips participants with storytelling skills and technical skills and inspired many participants to create their first podcast. We know that of the 130 submissions, we were only able to select 25 for our finalists, which was a very difficult challenge in and of itself. And of those 25, we published them on our embassy YouTube channel for the People's Choice Award.
So I think the quality is really amazing. Everyone had really good English, their diction, their pronunciation was very impressive.
The podcasts were great. I thought the podcast creators did a great job using their English language ability, introducing music in very interesting portions of the podcast, and then also doing a lot of great research to make their content very engaging.
For me personally, one of the things I enjoyed the most was seeing the topics that young people were passionate about sharing their thoughts and views and perspectives on.
There were a couple of podcasts that I found really impressive. One of them did a lot of great research to counter myths on sex education. And I found that the podcaster used a lot of sense of humor on a topic that many young people might find uncomfortable. And my biggest takeaway from that podcast is that it helps people, doing that research helps people develop critical thinking and active listening skills, and that is a very potent message to convey in a podcast. And then the second podcaster did a great job helping me visualize her experiences. She was doing a lot of storytelling that introduced the concepts of mindfulness and meditation. She provided a lot of great reasons for practicing meditation. Then she talked about how meditation helped her in her journey to enjoy life in the present, and I found that to be a very inspirational message.
I just want to take a moment to mention a couple of my personal favorites. How Hanoians Eat really struck a chord with me because not only was it a personal story, of course the podcaster had excellent English, which doesn't hurt, but it was a personal story and it was about something that really connects a lot of people all across the world, which is food culture and sharing their culture through food. It's something that I love. I know it's something that a lot of people elsewhere around the world love, and Vietnamese cuisine, of course, is very famous worldwide for a reason. So for me personally, I absolutely adored this podcast. Also, another favorite of mine was a short story. As a tall woman who's nearly 6 feet tall, it was really enjoyable to me to hear a perspective from somebody who might not have the same stature as me and views the world in a different way because of their height. And I personally have reflected on how being a tall woman has impacted my life and how I perceive the world. So I really enjoyed hearing the perspective of how being a young man on the shorter side has influenced his life and his perspective.
There were two podcasts in particular I really liked the first one is called Mystical Entities Beneath the Brine. And this podcast told the story of mermaids and the legends of the sirens and the mermaids. And there was really innovative use of music and sound that really captured me and the audience. So I think the podcast creators did a really good job with the sound effects, the content. And the second one is called Beauty Pageants, A Coin of Two Sides. And what I really liked about this podcast was that it not only talked about the history of beauty pageants, but also some of the darker sides of beauty pageants, specifically the impact on mental health, the way that people see themselves and hold themselves to beauty standards, which may be unrealistic. So I really appreciated that the content creators dove into some of these more difficult topics and topics that impact our lives every day.
I want to take a moment to say whether or not you are a winner in this competition, we were so impressed with all of the entries, and it was so difficult for us to decide. And there was as many viewpoints as there were judges on the panel. So big congratulations to everyone. Chúc mừng các bạn.
Overall, I'm very grateful that many people across Vietnam submitted their excellent podcasts. I was particularly impressed with everyone's level of English, their diction, their pronunciation, but more importantly, the content today. So once again, thank you everyone so much for your efforts and for submitting really great podcasts. And of course, chúc mừng các bạn.
The podcast competition brought creators from all over Vietnam together. It's a great opportunity for young voices to talk about what issues are important to them, how these issues can inspire others to take action, can inspire others to create a deeper community on the internet. And so I hope that we can continue this competition in the future and to include newer voices in the mix. Thank you.